Hi, Mark. So as you can see right here, I used a parse.json module. So I took the output you get, this one you sent right here, from the which one was it again? The Google Gemini, the Gemini module. I took your output, so what you get, I put it in a parse.json module, meaning pretty much gives me the same output. You can see right here, that is exactly the output you should see on your end, right? Because if I click on output bundles, it gives me this exact format that you also have on your end. So I can basically replicate everything, right? And then as a next module, I put the Google Docs insert a paragraph to a document module. By drop down drive, selected a test document that I created right here. And yeah, right. I basically plugged in the result right here. Oops. I plugged in the result right here. So pretty much same setup, and you can see the test document completely empty here. But if I run the whole thing, so one thing that you wrote is that you get like an input, and if you right click on this, like it asks you to input the result. So if you right click this one and you click on run this module only, then obviously you get an input. Then you have to input it. What you have to do when you test it, obviously, just little explanation. I don't know if that's the issue, but just saying, you have to run the whole thing. So you have to click on run once and run the whole thing once. And I can see your, so that's basically the thing. And I think that's the issue for you here, because let me show you. If I click on run once, the whole thing works flawlessly, right? So this one gives me the check. Everything's in here. So that worked flawlessly. It added all of that. Don't know if that's the way you wanted it to add that, with all of this here and then all of this below. But that seems to be more of an issue with Gemini, right? But what I think the issue is, and why you also only have that one, like this output here, is that you just right click this module and you click run once. And the issue with that is that when you run one module once in Make, you cannot specify that it should take an output of a previous module. Instead, you have to provide all of that output manually, the way you saw it pretty much. So you have to provide all of that output you get from this module right here manually. So what you would have to do is the following. You would have to go into the previous module, and I don't recommend doing that, but if it's only one input that you need, then you can do that. You would go in here, you would click the same thing, output modules, and then everything inside the one you mapped, so results, between the quotes right here, you just copy all of that, copy, close that, right click, run this module only, and then paste it in here, and then you get basically the same result, right? If I go back in here, it should have added the whole thing. Yeah, okay, yeah, not the right way. So you can see how that's how this one wants it, because this one obviously allows us to parse it the way we want to parse it. So let me run it once. What you would probably then have to do is go in here and basically just copy it like that, which would obviously make it easier. Copy it like that, run this module only, paste that in result, okay, and then you basically get the output here. Yeah, also not perfect. And that's also the reason why I don't recommend you doing it this way. But I always recommend you to test the whole workflow. In Make, it's annoying to do the testing, so test the whole workflow. And if your first module is a module like this, watch messages, which is annoying to trigger every single time, right? Because you would have to send like yourself an email most likely or something like that. So what you would want to do is you'd want to run this module once, so get the output of this module right here, or of the first one, of the one that's annoying to trigger, right? And then you would do the exact same thing. So let's say this was your first module, your Outlook module. You would just click here, click on download output modules. You copy this whole thing, you copy all of that, and then you disconnect, you unlink it, and you put it aside for now, and you create a new module, which is a parse.json module, because this is what I told you in the beginning of this video. This basically allows us to replicate the output so that we don't have to trigger the first one again and again and again. That would get super annoying. It's super annoying. So you connect that, you just pull the trigger to this one, and you paste the output in here so that you have what you just copied. You paste that in here. You obviously click save the whole thing, and now you can just, while you're testing it, now you can just click on run once whenever you want to test it, and it will just work with the actual output without it having to be triggered again and again and again. And that is especially good to do when working with webhooks, and in this case it seems, or is it one? No, it's not a webhook. Okay, but still, it's still a lot nicer while testing to do it this way. And then once everything else is set, and then obviously you want to click run once, so you can run the whole thing and test the whole thing. What's going on here? Oh yeah, obviously we'll have to change the mapping of this one. So you'll have to change the mapping of the following modules. So by doing the following, you run once, get the output of that, and then you can map it in here. What's going on now? Yeah, we have the output. Come on. Yeah, that's make. I mean, it has some problems. So let's try that again. Come on. Let me reload the page real quick. But that's basically how you do that. Because if you wanted to test the whole thing, you'd either have to trigger the first module again and again and again, or you do something like that. Right now, here we have the result. You plug it in here, and then you can basically work with the output of that module without having to trigger that every single time. And then once you're done, once everything works, everything's working great, you can unlink this new module again, pull the trigger over to your initial module, which in your case would be the Outlook module, the first one, pull that back down here, connect it back, and then update the mapping here back to the original one. And the thing is, since you're basically using the output of the other module, all the fields will have the exact same name. So the parse.json module will have the exact same output as the one you're working with. So you can pretty much just change the number in front. So you see how that's the 1, and that is module 3. You can see that right here, module 3 and module 1. So what you could also do is you could just copy that and then paste that somewhere where you can, just to show you, if you paste that in an online notepad, that is how that looks like, the mapping. So you can just change the number up here and then copy that back in, and it will reference the other module. You could do that, but you don't have to do that in this case. You can just remap to the correct one. So that's what you can do, or you just have to trigger the whole thing every single time again and again and again. But that's pretty much the problem, it seems like. And if you do it this way, where you trigger the whole thing again, the whole workflow, then it works. Or you have to copy, as I said earlier, the output of this one, that field that you have mapped in the next one, copy everything and paste it in here. But that should work.